It's September 4th, 2014 at 11:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We have a mock collision at Queen's Park Road and Bloor Street West in front of the subway I mentioned to my wireless surveillance is going to visit. Okay, so we have the everything except police cars. Everything except police cars, okay? So the EMS van. Now this whole thing was staged from a D4922. I have the plates of the taxis on audio, but it's Beck Taxi 962. They're doing lots of obstruction with passing taxis, okay? And not one police car or RCMP vehicle to be seen. Okay. And it's simple. They just get stunt drivers and they do the collision, and it's just a fender bender and scale. And as you can see, the tow truck is there before the police, not one police officer. The police officer all around me is plainclothes. All the police are here in shorts with mobile phones. Probably RCMP as well, like him. Subway has been emptied out deliberately. And the police have shown up in a timely manner. Yeah, the fake witnesses. I've had enough fake witnesses in my life. And it's not a regular car, it's like a crowd control car. So as you can see, it's been about 20 minutes, and the same people are here. The guy in the red shorts is the, you know, probably organizer from the Toronto police or the RCMP or whatever. The tow truck is still there. The vehicle is still there with no driver, and the cab is still empty. Yeah, number 962. And the police thing here, the 6011 with the directional arrow, and I'm being witnessed by car 5322 here, which is now driving along eastbound on Bloor West. So unlike the simulated terrorist event, the drill on Yonge Street by the Zanzibar, as I was heading down to play the record on Yonge Street back on September 12th, 2001, they seem to have kept this skit and all its evidence around me, even when I went to the subway for my Subway sandwich, and you've seen the receipt. So that skit, which happened on September 12th, 2001 in the afternoon, involved a taxi, much like this, positioned in front of me on Yonge, and then the ETF, the Emergency Task Force, the Toronto Police, and even police on horses, rode out of, I think it was around Elm Street, and aimed at the taxi with all their automatic rifles, which was positioned before me, just like this taxi is positioned before me right now with a police handler. They aimed all their automatic rifles at me, using the cab as an excuse, and I guess wanted to see what type of reaction I would have. And I just did nothing, and then when they finally lowered their guns, I backed up and basically scooted out of the way and went north up Yonge a bit to observe it all, and then the taxi and the ETF and the police and everybody vanished all at once. So I must have been classified by the RCMP or somebody in America, or some highfalutin law enforcement agency, as a nice terrorist patsy who had an aversion towards authority and maybe didn't like police. Yeah, another patsy in the making. So there it is, there's your evidence. And not even a police car there to take a report, just fiddling around and fidgeting until I leave. Okay. And this guy here seems to be involved in all of it. He was the guy who told me to get out of the way. He's the police handler, okay? And there's the Royal Ontario Museum. And the time is 12:05 a.m. on September 5th, 2014. A little blurry. There we go. 12:06 a.m. So I've taken my photos and my videos, and they still haven't cleared up, and the guy with the red shorts is talking to the police now, and he's getting out. Okay, it's time to wrap up the... Hi. How are you? I'm fine, how are you?
Is there anything I can help you out with?
No, I'm just heading home.
Okay. Okay, no,
But I'm glad you're more interested in me than the accident. That's very telling. Thank you so much. It's 12:07 a.m. on September 5th, 2014.